and welcome to the garage on Ride By. Today we have the 2025 Honda City RS. So this is actually, as an RS model, it's actually a bit sportier than the 1.5V or the 1.5S. How? You get some nice looking bits all around the exterior. So for starters, it's the honeycomb black grille here. You get a bit of a chin down here and some faux carbon bits as well. Down the side, you get blacked out mirrors. And then actually, I think this is new. The wheels design is new. It's 16 inches, wrapped in Yokohama Blue Earth tires. All right, down the back. Oh, you also get a bit of a side skirt down there. And down the back, meron kang gloss black na ducktail. Then sa baba, meron kang konting diffuser just to give it that really aggressive stance, no? Okay, so now let me show you the engine. Aha! Alright, so this is a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder gasoline engine. No electrification, no hybrid here. It's just pure gas. No, it makes about 121 horsepower or 120 and 145 newton meters of torque. It's mated to a CVT transmission. So it's a little bit on the rubber bandy side, but you know, it gets the job done. It's pretty quick pa rin. Ayan. Okay, let's turn it on for a while. Yan. Okay, so the inside of the City is actually really nice, no? Nothing too fancy, no, you know, wood paneling or shiny bits here and there. It's just a well thought out space, well laid out. So you got leather steering wheel, of course, leather shift knobs, leather seats with some perforations as well, no? Red contrast stitching. Then you have this red strip here, again, to reinforce the sporty vibe of the RS. Then everything just looks, you know, pretty simple, pretty classy. You have analog gauges here with a small LCD screen in the middle. No, so yan yung multi-information display mo. Then this is the stereo. I'm not sure how big this is, but it's substantial, nice layout, very simple, very elegant. Again, ayan, Apple CarPlay. Then sa labas, it looks a little dated, but basically placeholder lang naman yung actual na ano niya, di ba? Na UI before you plug in Apple CarPlay. Okay, so let's move on to the back. All right, here in the back, it's actually really nice, no? When we think of the B segment subcompacts, we usually automatically think medyo masikip, but the City is actually very spacious. Well, it should be because it's grown to become almost the size of the Civic FD now. So this seat is set to my position. I'm 5'10", and as you can see, I still have a lot of leg room. My knees aren't touching the front seat. And then yung headroom niya, okay pa rin. Even if I sit really upright, maybe I'm touching the liner there for a little bit. So if I sit down, I have really good space all around, right? In the middle, yeah, middle is a little higher, so you'd have to scooch down a bit talaga. No, but still pretty comfortable. Then you have AC vents in the middle, 2 AC vents, 2 power outlets. So these are the cigarette lighter type outlets. No USB nga lang here. Still nice, right? Then Isofix, of course, for families. Then some cup holders here. Basic amenities, but you wouldn't mind spending a long time here. Right, so one thing I really appreciate about the City, no, is just like your typical SUV or hatchback, it has a trunk release right outside here. So long as you have the key fob, you can open it from here instead of releasing it from the inside. So now when you open it up, I have my big Thor box here, my bag and my motorcycle helmet. Gives you a good sense of how big the space is. So this is pretty tall, no? And as you can see, you can still fit a lot of other items pa. So even if, let's say I had to go do the groceries right after this, I could still fit those in here. And talagang walang problema kung ano man kailangan mong dalhin. Yun nga lang, I don't think the seats fold down, so you don't get a long, you don't get access to the cabin, no? Down here, we get a donut spare tire, hindi nga lang sa full size, some basic tools, and your scissor jack. Yan. So now, being a Honda, syempre, driving ang ano nito, ang strength nito. So why don't we hop in, go for a ride. Alright, so driving the Honda City RS, you know, my first impression driving this car is, it's just really well sorted. These days, sobrang daming brands pumapasok, sobrang daming kotse na pumapasok. And not all of them, maybe they're really laden with tech. They're super fancy, they're super futuristic. But sometimes the fundamentals lag behind. With a city, the fundamentals are what it really gets right. So first of all, handling. The steering is really sharp, really fast, precise. You can flick it around and you really enjoy driving this car. In terms of power, it's not a lot, 120, 121 horsepower. It's not a lot, but again, if you think back to like the Honda Civic FD, the FB, that's about the power that the Civics made na eh. So right now in this, it's really not that bad, no? CVT, of course, it's always going to be a little bit jarring, no? Like driving a bumper car, but it gets the job done. Fuel economy is great. So right now, it's displaying 7.5 after a whole day of shooting and idling. But typically, when we were driving this, I was getting around 9 in the city, more or less. 8.5 to 9, which is really not bad for a 1.5 liter engine. Okay, when it comes to the suspension naman, no, the city is a little on the harsher side, I would say. Being a little more sporty, a little more dynamic. Medyo mas matagtag siya, but it rewards you with a much more engaging driving experience. So when you go around fast corners, sweeping turns, no, hindi siya nagro-roll as much. Yan. So for example, dito, you really feel confident pushing the car. You feel like, it's very planted, stable. Yun nga lang, if it's comfort that you're looking for, maybe you might want to look at other options in the segment. So right now we're in eco mode now. You can see the green leaf right there on the gauge. That's eco mode. So you can disengage that through this button on the shifter here, beside the shifter there. So what it actually does is it sharpens the throttle response a little bit. The transmission, revs out a little higher. So mas nakakaarangkada siya, no? And this engine actually, it keeps the power up at the higher RPMs, no? So you really have to rev it out, ring it out to make the most power. But that's typical of a Honda, syempre para marinig mo yung BTEC pare, diba? So, yun. Also, may paddle shifters pala to, no? So may simulated gears even if it's just a CVT. So, yeah, you can downshift, and that's 2,000 RPM, 2,500 in second, and then you can just pull, right? And so, really made for an engaging experience, this car, I'd say. Even if it's sabihin natin subcompact lang, na maging honest tayo, no? Hindi itong mga to yung mga usual na iniisip natin sa isang subcompact na sedan. Pero being a Honda, it really has, that sporting heritage, that sporting intent within the car. And you can really feel that all the time when you're driving it. It's just such an enjoyable car. You still get good fuel economy, you get a nice interior. So NVH, pagdating sa NVH, like when we went through those rumble strips there, you feel some of the vibrations coming from the floor, from the inside. The engine is a little louder also. But again, that's typical of the segment eh. Diba? Of course, this car comes in at 1.138. It's a little expensive na, no? Ngayon, medyo mahal na yung mga subcompact. But in the grand scheme of things, mura pa rin siya. It's still a budget-friendly vehicle. Okay, so the big update for the 2025 Honda City is actually the inclusion of Honda Sensing in all of the City variants. So from the 1.5V, the 1.5S, up to the City RS, they now get Honda Sensing across the board. So what is Honda Sensing? It's what Honda calls their ADAS suite. So the City now gets adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, lane departure warning, front collision mitigation, and yung lead vehicle departure notification. So this car is really designed to keep you and your family safe out on the road. But yun nga, since this is a little bit of a cheaper vehicle, it's not as complete as the more expensive cars in Honda's lineup, such as the CR-V or the BR-V. So those get blind spot monitors in addition to all that I've mentioned, 360-degree cameras, or yung blind spot camera, at least na nasa BR-V. Wala yun, but you get the essentials here. And that is more than enough to keep you safe when you're out on the road. All right, now we're back from the drive with the Honda City RS, and it's time to give you my rating of this car. So number one, performance. In terms of performance, 121 horsepower, again, 145 newton meters of torque, made it to a CVT. I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. If it had a manual transmission, maybe just to bring up the fun factor a little bit, then that'd be closer to 10. But as it stands, 7.5. Yeah. For second is handling. Handling is really where this car shines. It's really one of the best handling cars in the segment, and I'd have to give it a 10 out of 10. Number three, styling. In terms of styling, I think it's a bit, it looks a lot like most of the cars that are out there. It's nothing too special, nothing too out of the ordinary, but it's safe, it's clean, it looks good. I'd give it 8 out of 10. So next up is utility. So in terms of utility, cabin space, top notch, maluwag siya kahit na maliit lang siyang kotse. Trunk space is also good. Yun nga lang, again, as I've said in the video, hindi mo na-fold down yung seats. So you don't have the chance to extend your cargo area. Unlike the hatch or, the city hatch, right? So in terms of utility, I'd have to knock it a few points because of that and give it maybe a 7 out of 10. Lastly, value for money. So this car comes in at a little over 1.1 million pesos. No, I know that's a little bit of a steep ask for a car that's this size, but you get a lot of things for your money, You get Honda Sensing, number one, which is Honda's safety suite, completo, almost. Things that you don't typically see in cars like this. No? You get good looks, great interior quality, very usable space, and I think it's really value-packed for what it is. So I'd give it a 9 out of 10. Overall, I'd give this car an 8.5 out of 10. It's a very enjoyable car to drive. I'm sure it's a very enjoyable car to own for many, many years also. You get a great cabin, good looks, practical space, just everything you could ask for. Plus, again, Honda Sensing. All right, so there you have it. That was our first drive of the 2025 Honda City RS. Be sure to stay tuned to the garage on RidebuyPh for the full written review of this vehicle. See you there, and thanks for watching.